And welcome to the first video podcast for the GACCast, where we talk about games, anime, computers, and collectibles. My name is Harrison. To my left,
I'm Faust.
To my right,
I'm James.
And we're going to talk about what's relevant this week with the internet. And I'm going to start off with computers. The big thing that's actually coming up for this next week, and it's being talked about this last week, is the Windows 10 free upgrade is going to be coming to an end on the 29th, this coming Friday. Mm-hmm. So if people have not upgraded to Windows 10, they've had a whole year to upgrade to Windows 10. At this point, you have until the 29th.
I'm pretty sure there's some 8.1 users out there going, "Thank God," because they're tired of getting hounded. I think they actually got to the point where Microsoft was like, "We're just going to install it, okay?"
Yeah, they got sneaky even on the 8.1 users. I fell for it.
Yeah.
But James, what do you feel about upgrading to Windows 10? Do you think it's a safe thing at this point?
I don't know about safe, but I've had no issues with Windows 10.
Okay.
I mean, of course, there's the people saying that they're recording your actions and they're monitoring you on the back end, and you can't turn it off. And like, what makes you think they're not monitoring you now?
You can turn that off, or at least they give you an option to make you feel like it's been turned off.
Right.
But yeah, if you want to use Cortana, you have to basically have all that shit on.
Exactly.
And,
you're right.
And even then, Cortana is not technically that useful. It's about as useful as Siri is, and really Siri is just a novelty to people most of the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I didn't have any problems upgrading to 10. I put every Windows device I have up to 10.
Good for you.
Yeah, and aside from a couple of older devices no longer being compatible, and they were seriously older devices. I mean, I still have a old discontinued Sony Walkman MP3 player that worked perfectly fine. So points for integration, guys.
Yeah.
Now, that whole shit about bugging me every time I boot my computer about I need the latest version of Microsoft Office. No, I don't.
But you need the new version. Hey.
Yeah, you don't have it. And the worst part is they don't even try to sell me the new version. They're trying to sell me Live 365.
Yeah, I think they took a page from, was it Nami from, or what's the little fairy thing from Zelda?
Navi.
Navi.
Hey, listen. Yeah.
Hey, listen. Hey, upgrade. Hey.
Hey,
right? Is that about how it goes?
I guess, yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the things I think is interesting about this, from a local standpoint, is I heard a computer shop today, and I heard a computer shop today.
Okay. What do they sound like?
They sound like a radio show on the car.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a show called A Computer Shop?
Well, there's a computer shop in town that has a radio show.
Okay.
So you heard a commercial?
No, they have an hour-long radio show.
Okay.
So they podcast too?
I guess.
That's enough ribbing him, I think.
I guess. Okay. Thank you. But I'm trying to be generic on this one, okay?
So we have a computer show on the radio.
Yes, okay. And it was for about an hour, and they start off the show talking about this too. And the thought process I got from it was that they were being very negative towards the whole Windows 10 upgrade,
Mm-hmm.
Itself. It seemed their market was, Windows 10 is bad, stick with Windows 7. If you want to get it blocked or whatnot, you can do it here and everything like that. But they seem to just kind of be ripping more on Windows 10. And in my professional opinion, it's like easily past 15 years,
mm-hmm.
Working professionally in the environment. And what I end up dealing with, thousands of Windows 10 users all the time. And quite frankly, it's really good from a clean install standpoint. In my own personal experience, doing it as an upgrade has gone very well. I have, caveats obviously to this, because I had a couple 5-year-old laptops I went to upgrade, and Dell goes, hey, your Vostro 3350 probably isn't 100% compatible, but it could do 8.1. So I'm like, well, if you do 8.1, you can do Windows 10. And I upgraded, and really it took smoothly. I mean, the only nagging issue is with the hybrid graphics. I've seen actually a few of the laptops that were about 5 years old that started very beginning of the hybrid graphics. So you're talking like anything with like an Intel.
Also, it's a cusp technology.
It's a cusp technology.
Yeah.
It started right around the Intel Ivy Bridge processor. So like anything that's like an Intel i5 2000 series, i3 2000 series, or i7 2000 series. Those Sandy Bridge Ivy Bridge processors, they first started to do the hybrid on the laptops where they would try to use the integrated graphics in the Intel chips for normal desktop operation. And then if you needed to do anything more advanced or they require more processing power, such as a game or watching a video potentially, or 3D CAD or anything like that, it would dynamically switch over to the integrated graphics card. And it was either NVIDIA Optimus technology or it was AMD had the same technology, but it seems to be consistent around that time.
And 10 doesn't take.
Well, it does take, actually. It does take. The drivers, though, are a little weird because it takes a lot longer to come out of sleep, and every once in a while you'll get some weird screen glitches. Luckily, there are third-party solutions out there that fix that issue. I don't recall what they are offhand, but again, I'm gonna say I'm explaining this kind of more as a caveat. Yes, a 5-year-old machine could potentially have some problems, but if you're sitting on a 5-year-old machine anyways,
you're better off not upgrading it.
Yeah. Either A, don't upgrade it, or know what you're doing, make sure you back the stuff up, maybe do a clean install, go ahead and at 5 years you might want to even consider looking at a whole new machine. I mean, I know
new to you.
Yeah, newer than 5 years. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I would do that. That sounds about reasonable.
Yeah, I think really the thing here is if you have a machine that is, I would say, 3 years old or newer at this point, you are safe to do an upgrade to Windows 10. Yeah. But what are the typical things that you should always do? You should always make sure that all your stuff is backed up, because you never know what's going to crap out a system. I mean, trying to say that, oh, Windows 10 broke my system, it's an awful thing for doing this upgrade in place.
That gets said about every distribution of Windows since ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody complained back in the day that Windows 1.0 ruined their system.
Yeah.
Because it's not DOS.
And Windows updates and service packs have done the same things.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is be optimistic, but plan your optimism. Go for the upgrade, but just make sure you have everything backed up first. Mm-hmm. If you know a friend that's, tech savvy, try to get them involved. And worst case is, either A, search out a local computer shop that can help you do the upgrade, or again, if you're probably 5 years or older on a computer, you might want to just go ahead and just pick up a brand new Windows 10 machine at this point.
Don't upgrade those old machines just because you want to be current. If you want to be current on OS, you have to stay current on hardware. Now, that said, the one thing I do find dubious still about Windows 10, and the reason I was reluctant to adopt it right off the bat, was there's language in the agreements that says that if you adequately modify the hardware profile of your system, for those people who build their own boxes and things like that, that it could invalidate your license to Windows 10.
Windows 7 did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So that is something.
You have to understand, I'm one of the PC consumer level kind of people. I don't work heavy industry. I don't do heavy hobby kind of hardware stuff or deep software stuff. If I buy a computer, it comes with Windows on it because that's the way it's done. And I usually keep that copy of Windows on it and only upgrade if I can do it for cheap or free.
Okay.
And that's the only reason I even got 10. Otherwise, I'd still be on 8.1 and loving 8.1. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, 8.1 really was a good operating system, and I actually got a little snarky when I got Ninja upgraded on. Just go ahead and close that. Oh, boo. Okay. So
we're having some interesting computer.
Our Surface decided it was going to.
I'm a reboot now. Okay.
Yeah. There was a PepCAC involved there because there was 2 options.
Yeah. Well,
so yeah, our Surface is rebooting at the moment.
It's not like we needed it in front of us directly.
Yeah.
Right away.
But the Windows 8.1. I got updated on Thanksgiving because it got a little sneaky with this thing, and it got me. And I was trying to keep 8.1 on the system because I was still happy with 8.1. So
it was one of those dialog boxes that said, yes, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Just like what just happened,
Yeah.
So.
It's shitty Microsoft that you guys pull this shit on us, but I can understand it. And in some ways, there's got to be some guy there who just knows that you're trolling us and is getting a kick out of it, because I get a kick out of it too sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Any thoughts on the Windows 10 or caveats that you've seen, James?
No. Again, I haven't had any issues. Upgrade went through just fine.
Good deal. So, gist of this is you're
running out of time for your free upgrade.
Right.
If you're going to do it smart. Upgrade responsibly.
And last day is this coming Friday on July 29th. And there's going to be a big service pack dropped in the next week or 2 after that, the first major service pack anyways. That's why they want to get this done before the service pack.
Now, are they killing Windows 7 after that? Because I heard some rumors about that they're just going to stop Windows 7.
They're already not.
And Windows 8.
They're already not selling those 2 options, and I think OEMs are running out of the ability to sell them potentially after that date. They're going into extended support, so that means they will still be supported. I think Windows
like 2020, right?
2020, at least for Windows 7. I would say probably about 5 years beyond that for
Windows 8.
For 8.1. They've essentially killed 8.0 support because 8.1 is an upgrade for 8.1. So they just said, screw 8. We don't know what we did there. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I still love that when 8 first dropped and they rented out this big old section of Times Square to have like the big Windows 8 launch thing, and there's screen caps where it's like getting ready for the opening, the lines outside, then the floor before people come piling in, and it's like time coded before people come piling in, then people piling in. It's like minute 1, minute like 15, place is empty. Like people saw it and went, fuck this.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then, yeah, Windows 8 just kind of slowly snuck out, and then I picked it up for cheap.
Yeah.
Like it was in a please buy this discount at a local retailer, and I got a copy. That is the first and only legitimate copy of Windows that I bought.
Don't say that too loud.
Right?
You're
No, I said I bought specifically separate from the system.
Oh,
it wasn't
okay.
pre-installed on a system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have never pirated Windows. I wouldn't stoop that low.
Wink.
Yeah.
He found it on the back of a bus.
Yeah. It fell off a truck.
It fell off
Yeah,
a truck.
it fell off a truck.
So speaking of pirating,
Yeah.
you have something you wanted to talk about?
Yes. So Kick-Ass Torrents, for those people who are not pirating things, wink, wink. Kick-Ass Torrents was taken down. They found the owner. He's somebody in Poland that put up this Kick-Ass Torrents thing, which is just a torrent search site for people to do file sharing. And torrents is this kind of dubious gray area that they can't really pin on anybody directly for sharing the files, not without hefty work and a lot of legal mumbo jumbo around it and everything. So this guy, they finally tracked him down, got to take down Kick-Ass Torrents and its mirrors. They've since come back up.
Okay.
So I don't know if somebody else is taking over running it or whatever is there, but this guy is going to court to be judged, or it's a trial to basically decide whether or not to set a precedent about torrenting. So right now, all eyes that are interested, anybody who file shares or something like that, should be watching this, is probably watching this, because this is one of the most trusted and respected torrent sites this side of Pirate Bay.
So I got to ask this.
Yeah.
You're saying this is to set a precedent. How is this different than the precedent that was set when the Pirate Bay owners were taking the trial? And remember, one of those people is in jail.
Yeah.
So how's this precedent different?
Well, for some reason, the logic behind the Pirate Bay trial got shifted or muddied or something like that. And so there's no clear decision in that trial that says it goes this way or this way when this kind of thing comes up legally. The only other one that kind of relates to it is the Mega Upload takedown. But that was a guy who was actually providing serving for the actual files. And so that set a precedent. If you are hosting the actual file and making it available to anybody to come and download it, you could be hit with copyright violation if it's copyrighted material.
Yeah.
Now, GACCast torrents is just like any other torrent site. You don't have the file served. You just serve a bit of text that points to the swarm that downloads this file. So nobody is sharing it. Everybody is sharing it. Anybody who is sharing it. So nobody can be singled out and saying you are violating copyright. And what this is trying to do is set some sort of legal precedent that say that if you run a site that gives people access to torrents, then you are guilty by association or by proxy.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Because that means that every search engine in the world that index a website that does torrenting.
Well, I think it's more of copyrighted torrents than like just general torrenting. I have downloaded games, legitimate purchased games through torrents. I have downloaded. There's a archive.org where I host one of my shows that I do. They offer a torrent option just as an automatic thing whenever you upload something. It's just there that somebody can torrent it.
Okay.
So torrent is just it's a viable structure, and that's where the gray area comes in. Is it's a viable structure for sharing data.
Yeah, and it's good for a lot of GPL license stuff. A lot of Linux distributions, you can get the torrent ISOs, and it's
those are big ISOs.
They are huge ISOs. Yeah,
and I know that there are legitimate like MMOs and stuff like that, big games, big always online games that don't really admit to it, don't say that it's torrenting specifically, but they use swarm loading, which is basically torrenting.
Yeah.
And that's to send out patches and big updates and things like that. So even if you don't think you've been torrenting, if you don't willfully go out and download copyrighted material, which, shame on you, you still used it. You still used the technology, and that's what the legal community is trying to separate here, is that there is a difference between using this technology for good and evil. To paraphrase.
Sounds like Napster all over again.
Yeah, I know. That's the other thing was there's some I think the Electronic Freedom Foundation wants to rewrite the DMCA to take care of some rather gray fuzzy logic.
Yeah,
inside of it. I didn't read up on that too much though.
That's the lawsuit that came out with was it DRM Technology, where they sued was it the Copyright Office, Congress, and somebody else to get that stuff rewrote.
Which like the DMCA was written to favor companies, not the individual. Because it was initially designed and written to protect the companies.
Yeah.
That were being victimized. They were painted as being victimized when they actually ended up making money from file sharing and stuff like that. But now the DMCA is being seen as a holdup in most legal cases, because it's there and pointed out that it favors the company, that it no longer protects the individual in these cases where they're supposed to be innocent until presumed innocent, proven guilty.
Yeah, and that's causing issues with YouTube licensing. It's causing issues with anything you try to put out. It's causing internet trolls. I think the most interesting case was the gentleman that took his playthrough of a NBA hoops game on the Nintendo. Family Guy goes and uses it because it was showing an exploit where if you're at the top right hand corner of the court, you could always make 3-hand shots like practically every time. So Family Guy takes this clip from YouTube, uses it in their show, and then issues a takedown notice on the original clip on YouTube.
So they put this. Do they put this clip verbatim in their show?
Yes.
Do they do it with their own animation and everything like that?
No, they show the screen.
They show the actual clip?
Yeah, they show the actual clip.
And then they issue the guy a copyright takedown.
Yes.
Bad form, guys.
Yeah.
Like, he made that, and even though Nintendo can come along and say that it's their property, because that's what Nintendo is notorious for doing right now to YouTube people. If you post anything that has Nintendo gameplay footage.
Nintendo IP gameplay footage.
Yeah, specifically stuff that's in the, like, Splatoon footage gets advertised by Nintendo now. They snatch that up. Except they're doing away with the Splatoon servers. They're like
Already?
yeah, they're
Already.
Well, it's still going to be around, but they're not actively like keeping it running and everything. It's sort of a server collection.
They're going to lose all 5 of their Wii U players that way.
All right. So yeah, a lot of weird stuff going on legally in the games and development scene.
Yeah. So as you know, I play Final Fantasy 14 a lot. So I'm gonna go on to something else.
Okay.
So I play Final Fantasy 14 a lot. You know that.
Yeah.
So I was farming, and I'm actually going into anime. There's 2 types of animes I've been watching.
How does Final Fantasy 14 and anime have to...
You really have to ask.
Watching the anime
Okay.
while playing 14.
Okay.
Farming materials.
Okay.
And I was watching anime while farming.
So we're going to talk about anime, right?
Yes. I could talk about 14 if you want.
Okay, I just thought you...
All night long.
I just thought you were going to talk about 14.
You got time?
All right.
All right, so anyways. So the first anime I was watching is Glitter Force.
Okay.
It was on Netflix.
Sounds like an anime title. What is Glitter Force?
It's just basically Sailor Moon, dude.
Is it really?
It's a knockoff of Sailor Moon.
Is it like we're a knockoff? We're very obviously a knockoff, and we make fun of it.
It is obviously.
There was something like that for Power Rangers too.
Oh yeah. I can't remember the name.
Gray Man or I don't know.
But yeah, they have the transformation. It's similar, and instead of using, they have these little things that they use for makeup, and she uses that to transform into Glitter Force agents, which fight evil and help bring happy endings.
Happy endings.
Yeah, dude, man. Well, it's the whole.
Is this a phrasing thing?
Not that kind of happy.
Do they call it happy endings?
Do they call it happy
endings? No, they do not.
Okay. So this is your phrasing.
Yes.
Okay.
So they're fighting evil, and of course they're good. I'm like, they're Sailor Scouts. It looks just like Sailor Moon.
Okay, so why should anybody watch this over Sailor Moon?
That's a good point. I would probably watch Sailor Moon over this one.
Well, okay, a lot of people who would say that are probably more nostalgic about Sailor Moon than they really should be, because Sailor Moon is boring and formulaic.
But I did find it entertaining.
It's as bad as Scooby-Doo. Like, seriously.
No, I don't think it's bad as Scooby-Doo.
I don't know. I put Sailor Moon and Scooby-Doo both in the same, and about the same thing. And you know what? I enjoyed watching those as a kid.
I did watch a lot of Sailor Moon as a kid, sorry.
I watched Scooby-Doo a lot as a kid.
So Glitter Force is entertaining, but be heads up that it's gonna be like super cheese-tastic on the love is stronger than hate. And
so out of 5, what would you give it?
4.
4 question marks?
You're gonna give it 4?
You know what? No, 3.5.
3.5?
3.5.
Okay.
Because I liked Sailor Moon. And
so if you're a fan of Sailor Moon, you'll like this more than the average anime.
It's kind of cutesy. It's got the whole good evil thing and
cool.
Yeah, it had so in the first episode, I think it was the first episode, it was talking about the big bad wolf. Because I was like, are we going into furry stuff here? Because I don't like this.
I think it's called Grimm. Big Bad Wolf. That's Grimm fairy tales.
But yeah, the villain was a wolf, and she hid behind a wall and said, "I read this fairy tale book. I know you can't get past a brick wall." And then
so 3 little pigs. Okay.
Yeah.
So how many episodes are there in that series?
Season 1, I think there's only like 12 or 13.
12 or 13 in the season?
More, but I can't remember.
Okay. So right now, at least there's 12 or 13 in the season. There could be more.
And just because you mentioned it, I'm pretty sure you piqued some interest out there. Can you sum up Final Fantasy XIV in 2 sentences?
Probably not.
Probably not?
No, probably not.
So Final Fantasy XIV...
is the MMO version of Final Fantasy.
Okay. And it's very anime? Ish. It's more of the Final Fantasy kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Mithra and those little cutesy Moogle things.
Yes.
And,
you also have the Lalafels.
So
tiny cute characters.
So if I've watched Final Fantasy Advent Child, I'm ready for Final Fantasy 14.
Get the I mean,
that's fighting words in Final Fantasy speak, man. Advent Children, yeah.
I just want to, make sure.
At least he didn't say the spirits within, because that point that was a terrible movie.
I like that movie. I don't really associate it with Final Fantasy, but I like that movie.
It was a good movie at its time. If they gave it anything else, because the only thing that was related to Final Fantasy was Gaia. That was it.
Okay. So back to Final Fantasy 14. There's actually been a lot of talk lately. People are saying it's how long has it been out?
years.
It's hitting its stride. No major patches,
Yeah.
updates, expansions.
Of course, there's been expansions.
Yeah,
there's Heaven's Sword is right.
Oh, so it's had done the usual
Yeah.
MMO thing.
Yeah, it has the expansion. Not as much as World of Warcraft. The expansion.
Well, Warcraft is the exception that proves the rule when it comes to MMOs. Like every MMO is trying to be Warcraft.
Honestly, I think it's better than WoW.
Yeah.
10 times better than WoW. I'm sorry. I mean, WoW is a good game. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I like World of Warcraft, and it was fun. We played it for years. But I like Final Fantasy more because the story is more in depth. You get a feel for the characters. You don't have to level up a whole new class on Final Fantasy. You can literally make one character and give him a different job.
It's the job system.
There is no, just like Final Fantasy, it's a job system.
So-
there is no, you need to make a hunter, you need to make this. No, there's just one character. You designed it the way you want it to look.
Can you do all the crafting?
Yes.
Yeah.
On one
You don't
character.
need to like specialize in one particular kind of
Well,
crafting.
of course, there's different crafting stuff. That one you have to.
So what you say is, you can like wake up one day and say, I'm tired of being the healer. I'm going to go out and learn to be a rogue in the game.
Yeah.
And then you can go become a rogue.
Yeah, my main class when I started was a gladiator. Then I switched, became a paladin, which was a tank. They're both the same. And then I got tired of that. I got my paladin to level 60, max level, and I decided to make a bard. So I took a hunter up to a bard and made.
Is 60?
What does a bard
When
do?
you first start off, you're jobless.
Okay.
You start off as a.
Can you stay jobless?
Well, that sounds like a bard. You know, I'm a musician.
So-
I'm jobless.
So you start jobless, and then you can, but you're not going to be very effective in any dungeon situation at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like a gladiator is like the lowest of that class, right, for a tank. And then if you stay that way the entire time, you're not going to get the taunting abilities. I mean, you want to become a paladin.
It's obviously fun. You've been playing it for this
Oh, yeah.
long. Yeah. So you would recommend it?
Yes.
Okay. If you're an MMO, check out Final Fantasy 14.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And if you played it when it first came out, make sure you go back and recheck it because they relaunched the game.
That's true.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Between 1.0 and now, there's a huge difference.
Yeah, was it like called a Realm Reborn now or something like that?
The Realm Reborn is them basically. Essentially, what happened was the person who made Final Fantasy 14 screwed up so badly, they took the person from Final Fantasy 11 and said, fire this guy, put this guy in, and he saved it.
I remember a lot of jokes around the time was like, we're sorry, we're going to do it right this time or something
Right.
like that.
Right.
He literally saved it. That's why the opening of Realm Reborn is really messed up, but it makes sense.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
In other news.
yes, in other news.
Yeah, I know, I just kind of hijacked it, huh? I was like, I'm going
well,
to talk
we're-
about my stuff.
We're all basically, this is the show, folks. We sit
Yes.
around and try to hijack each other.
And
Phrasing.
And you two talk real quick. I'm gonna step out of camera real quick here.
Okay. So yeah, the only MMO that I've really been checking out lately is Guild Wars 2.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one. They still have some of the expanded content up and everything. I go back there because I really like it because it's one of those ones, and I know this is probably intentional in some way, somebody in that office somewhere, but the cutesy little tiny race in there,
Oh,
the
yeah,
Asura.
there's always going to be that in all man.
Yeah, they're in all that, but they're always fuzzy and big-eyed and like everything like that. The Asura are such a send-up of that because they're these little cutesy guys with these really cutesy kidsy animations when you're running around. If you see them at a distance, it's all fine. But when you get up close, they are leathery and like wrinkly and veiny, and they look like a lizard turned inside out. And I swear it's just a joke. It's a send-up.
It is, but
And they are arrogant bastards.
But
too.
this is NCSoft, Korean, so they always have a little cutesy race, always in all their games.
No, it's not the Guild Wars 2.
Yeah,
That's not NCSoft. That's
yes, it
Arena.
is. That's NCSoft.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I learn something new every day. Either way, good job, guys, because that's the only reason I like that game. It's because the cutesy race is a friggin' joke. It's not cute. They are not cute up close, and when you hear them talk, they get annoying.
You talk about the little science guys?
Yeah, the Asura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my necromancers in Asura.
Yeah, they're fun to play because they're tiny and they can move around a lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Other big things are if you're a Magic player. This last week, Eldritch Moon released. This is the second.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, this is the second expansion for the Shadows over Innistrad or the Innistrad cycle. A couple of things have changed recently is in the last year, Magic decided that they're going to go to 2 sets per cycle. So instead of there being 3 sets, there's only 2 card sets per cycle now.
Makes sense.
What is
Less
a
to
cycle?
produce.
A cycle is basically a plane, and that they're centering the cards around, or a theme or whatnot.
So is this like a season sort of thing? Like there's a summer season and a winter season and stuff like that?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, now it's basically there's a cycle. It's probably last 6 months before the next cycle comes out, and there's
So I'm hearing there's new Magic coming out basically every 3 months.
there's always new Magic coming
Yeah.
out every 3 months. It's been like
I
that
used
for
to
a
go
while.
to Magic all the time when I
Oh,
was.
so they've accelerated then.
No, they haven't accelerated. They've accelerated the cycle, because it used to be usually 3 sets in a cycle, and then there was a core set. So it's like last one, like Ravnica or Return to Ravnica or anything like that. Like Ravnica was, or Return to Ravnica was Return to Ravnica, Gate Crash, and
I can't remember the name of it either, but that one.
Dragon's Maze.
Well, the last time I played was around I'm not probably getting the temporality here wrong, but it was between Avacyn and Ravnica.
Which is Innistrad. And
Yeah.
they've gone back to Innistrad because those Shadows over Innistrad.
Yeah.
And now they're doing was it Eldritch Moon?
Yeah, I believe that's what it was.
So this is the small set
Yeah.
that's just come out, and
Normally I wouldn't be interested, but Eldritch makes me think Lovecraft, and I love me some Lovecraft.
it is. That's a lot of people liked Innistrad because there was a lot of vampires and werewolves and
What about the concept? Wasn't that also?
cons?
Yeah.
That was 2 cycles ago. But this is very Lovecraftian, you know.
Oh yeah, that's right. The cons is an older one.
Yeah, cons.
I
is
just
an
had
old-
the poster taken down in my room. I've had it up that long.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the Dragons of Tarkir, and the Khans of Tarkir and everything, that was the last 3 cycle set. So after Magic Origins, which being the last core set, it was Return to or Battle for Zendikar, which is a return to Zendikar, and then Oath of the Gatewatch. That was the large small, and now it was Shadows over Innistrad, so they returned to Innistrad, and now the small set is Eldritch Moon, and it's very Lovecraftian.
So the thing to take away from here is if you're going to get into Magic, don't, because you're going to end up spending so much money on Magic over the next
Wait, no, get
2
into
years.
Magic. Get into Magic. Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
It's every 3 weeks.
So,
Like you have,
dude, it was fun. I had lots of fun. When the center I used to go to before they closed the comic shop down,
Yeah.
I used to go there all the time. That was fun.
I think the major thing is like for standard play, like if you're going to be in a league or tournament or whatever, you have to understand that the cards you bought at the beginning of the year won't be usable by the end of the year.
potentially, yes.
Yeah.
I will agree with you
No,
to a
he's-
point.
he's right.
To a point. To a point. But look, it's a fun game. It's a great game to play. You can play it casually. You don't have to play it standard. If you like the game enough that you're willing to invest to play in a standard, play standard. But pick up the game, learn it. It's a wonderful casual card game.
And we've got this one dropping this week.
Yeah, it dropped. It just dropped here this last Friday. So
Yeah,
this
I
is
saw an unboxing of it.
Yep.
Really? Oh, we should probably check that out.
I would love
Yeah.
to check it out.
So what's this? I've seen this popping up on my feed all week. We've got something going on with Transformers.
Well, it's more than just Transformers,
Is
but
it more than meets the eye?
yes, it is more than meets the eye. Actually,
I see what you did there. Yeah.
So this is in relation to San Diego ComicCon's going on this week. Okay, which means that there's a time that the anime, the toys, and everything are going to be talked about.
The cosplay.
The cosplay
I've
too.
seen some masterful cosplay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But every San Diego Comic-Con, they always have a exclusive. Hasbro is very good about having good San Diego Comic-Con exclusives and talking about release of toys for the fall there. The one that is popping up on the feed is Fortress Maximus. This is their second Titan class Transformer that they made. They did a couple of years ago at San Diego Comic-Con. I think it was maybe it was 3 years ago. They did Metroplex. The sucker was 2 feet tall. So yeah, largest Transformer ever made. Very articulate, transform, even larger than the original Metroplex. The original Metroplex was 10 inches. Okay.
This is reminding me of when they had those foot tall GI Joes for a while there.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys, you Transformer collectors, like at least you're sticking with something that actually does have value as opposed to like Beanie Babies or pop vinyls.
Amazing.
But
they have value. They have
well,
value.
these are this generation's Beanie Babies.
Yeah. They have value because people like them, and really we're at like over 30 years now on Transformers. I think we're at the 30th year since the Transformers movie came out from 1986, which had Leonard Nimoy.
Well, there was only that movie. That was it. There hasn't.
That's one with that very famous clip. That's
George Orwell.
Is that the one with the very famous clip, or maybe it was the television series of Starscream kicking Megatron when he's like under a pile of rocks or something?
That's that one.
Somebody took it and looped that kick.
Yep.
Over and over and over, and it just gets funnier the more you watch it.
Yeah. Well, that was the feature length movie, but there's been some like 4 TV movies and everything like that, and you have the new Transformer reboots and whatnot. And in Japan, I think they've done a few because they continued on the series over there too. But toy-wise,
how big is your average figure?
Your average figure is.
Do we have one in here?
Oh,
we've got one in here.
We got lots in here. So your average figures, I would say, are about.
Should I try Chromia or RC?
You can grab RC. Everybody loves RC.
Right. Sorry for the mic bumps here, guys.
So what is your
all right,
after you're done with that?
There, that's your standard Transformer figure.
Yeah, this is your standard ones. I would say they're probably more like 6 or 7 inches. They have ones that are bigger than that. They're probably like 8 to 9, typically.
And so it's like the
2 feet.
2 feet.
So we're talking here.
Yeah.
Like, this is the type of guy that you can pull out of the box, spend $150 on, for the non-San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version. Yeah. So I think it's that much at the time, but afterwards it goes up on eBay instantly for $300. Okay, so but you end up buying it there, or if you buy it afterwards and you actually open it up, you can literally set this guy behind your monitor and you have him grasp your monitor, just peering over, looking at you. And yeah,
you do that. I think you would.
I would.
Yeah.
I would. And that's why I'd get 2. One to do that, and the other to keep in the box. You got to have some fun.
Yeah.
I used to do that a lot with Todd McFarlane figures.
I fully believe that. Like, if you're going to get something, you should get something to enjoy it. And if you want to preserve it, buy another one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, with all my comics, I read all of my comic books, and they're short run, small run comics. I don't stick with the mainstream stuff, so it's never going to be worth anything for a very long time. But they're still really great. And yeah, I buy 2 copies if I think I want to hold on to one and like basically laminate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, look for online, Amazon, your favorite like toy collectible place, or he may even show up in the stores around Christmas time because I've seen him at niche stores and whatnot. I saw Metroplex when it was out. If you got $150, pick it up because that guy's going to go up in value, and it's a wonderful talking piece in itself just because it's huge. Little articulate hands and everything.
This is a conversation starter. It's this thing you're going to put on top of stuff and have it hanging over your monitor and things. If you're really into Transformers, you really want to try and find one of these.
I have a question for you on the Transformers.
What's that?
What is your opinion on the Michael Bay movies of Transformers?
The Michael Bay movies?
Mm-hmm. Because I know a friend that in my guild that absolutely hates it. So I thought I'd ask you about your opinion on the Michael Bay Transformers.
The first movie brought us Megan Fox leaning over the hood of a Camaro. I gotta give it some support.
So, first movie was fine. Third movie was fine. Second movie, they Jar Jarred it. And the fourth movie...
Well, which one was the one with the 2 racist buggies?
That's the second one.
Second movie?
They Jar Jarred it.
The one where they shot the gigantic one in the balls or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay.
They Jar Jarred it.
They Jar Jarred it.
Yeah.
So, the fourth one was...
the semi-retcon reboot?
Yeah, and it was good. It was self-aware, especially with Mark Wahlberg.
Mm-hmm.
I think he actually did a better job than Shia LaBeouf, So I got to give props to him. He was very self-aware about some of the things in there. But
What was
they copped out with Transformium. That was
Transformium. Yeah, like at least the Allspark was kind of like a kick-ass idea, just like the Matrix was back in the day.
And the Allspark made more sense within canon. You know, the Transformium, and then having all the Transformers do Transformium that they're battling, which is a cop out on the CG side because it's really complex to make those guys transform. Make him bust into little cubes and go. Sure, easier to.
I thought the transforming in the series overall was just kind of like, it's hard to follow, though it wasn't. It was easier to follow back in the cartoon because it could just use simple primitives and, you know, like all of a sudden just sort of morph something into a plane or a car. And it looked like, and I was expecting that in the Transformers movies, was just these big blocky polygons just going and then turning into a plane or a car.
Yeah.
No, they did it very complex. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was fascinating. So I give Michael Bay, you know, I'll give him a lot of credit on those. He did okay. Didn't ruin my childhood as bad as what they did with G.I. Joe, but that's a conversation for another time.
True. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So.
I was more G.I. Joe than Transformers.
Yeah, well...
They had ninjas.
Well, speaking of ninjas...
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Pokemon
Go!
Oh, jeez.
Lots and lots of news coming out on this week still.
Well, everybody's playing it. There's going to be a lot of news.
Well, the big thing is, now it's starting to roll out in Japan. We got it before Japan. Who brought us Pokemon?
Japan.
Yeah. How do you feel about this, James?
They probably let us do the testing so they can go, yep, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so from what I heard, the news stories say that Japan didn't have the server architecture that we had. Like, apparently.
I kind of doubt that part.
Well, it's like the servers weren't powerful enough for the population of Japan in such a small space.
Okay.
Sending that many requests.
Okay.
So it's probably a cell phone infrastructure space thing. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Even though they probably have one of the more robust cell phone networks out there. It's just they couldn't anticipate that much of an increase in traffic without bolstering their equipment.
Well, yeah, 'cause they're not us. I don't care. Just release it.
Mm-hmm. I think over in Japan, even if
we'll do it live.
We'll do it live. We'll fix it. We'll do patches live. But it might. Who cares? Do it. Release it.
I think they would still be a little bit more polite over there about, you know, than we are as a
because they're not going to be
Western
like
culture.
it's the devil. I don't know how an Eevee has to do with the devil, but somehow it has to do with the devil.
Oh, they found a lot of stuff pointing towards, because most Pokemon are based loosely, in some cases, on mythological figures and religious figures in Japanese Shintoism or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. But overall, it's great because it does get people out and everything like that. And it's all the hype right now. It's all the mania. And I think one of the funniest articles I saw from this last week was a reporter got called out during a White House press meeting at the State Department. It's you're playing Pokemon, aren't you? Maybe.
Yeah, yours are made of brass.
I'm not catching anything.
Dude, yours are made of brass. Because you did that in a friggin' White House press conference.
Yeah, and the best part is they asked him, it's like, so did you catch anything?
Did you catch it? Because you're wasting your time.
Hopefully you can sell it to make a living wage, because you're not going to be covering the White House press conferences for very long.
I don't see why they would fire him for that.
Yeah. So I actually...
they'll take him out of...
Probably.
They'll put him on something else.
So I actually got to give a shout out to John Kirby, the U.S. State Department spokesman, who called out this report. He did such a dad thing, you know. Yeah. Not only to call him out, it's like, was it worth it?
Yeah.
You know, the report has to go, well, I actually don't have good signal. You know,
I just no, was not worth it.
No, I didn't bring enough for everybody.
So you know, got to call out John Kirby for the U.S. State Department spokesman on this one, being, you know, the dad moment of the month right there.
Okay, yeah, I should actually watch that video if that's what happened.
Oh yeah,
like
it was amazing.
Do you have something to share with the rest of the class?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was the best. So, you know,
keep playing, guys. This shit is funny.
Yeah, keep playing. Great game. We're glad you're getting out. We're glad you're getting exercise.
I find that hilarious where people are like, I think it's lame. Let me go ahead and make my fantasy football team.
Yes, that's very...
You're lame going out and playing Pokemon.
Yeah, so Fantasy Football League starts up this week.
Right?
You know, have fun with that while we go do our Pokemon, and Madden 17 is going to start coming out, and their draft rounds and everything are going on.
What's the difference is, you know, like these people, they sit in their houses and they imagine running around like imaginary football fields. We go out and walk the lengths of football fields to catch pixels.
I just say if you enjoy it, just enjoy it.
I like it. It's fun. It could be anything. I said it last time. It could be anything other than Pokemon, and I would still enjoy it.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I guess, because of this Pokemon Go hysteria and whatnot, they're actually greenlit doing a Pokemon live action movie.
Yeah.
The live action movie.
Yeah.
We'll make anything into a movie these days.
As long as they...
Emojis are getting a movie.
Emojis? Tetris is getting a movie.
Yeah.
Dude, there's the movie about hot dogs getting, trying to escape being eaten.
Is this real?
Is this serious?
Yes. I forgot the
name.
name.
I thought mine was enough of a shocker.
Dude, no, there was
hot dogs to avoid getting.
I thought Tetris.
No, that was the short. Wasn't it short? It was the.
It's gonna be a movie.
It was a food. It's a Seth Rogen thing or something like that.
It's gonna be a movie.
It's gonna be a movie, like a full-on movie.
Yeah.
So this
isn't. I don't know if it's true or not, but from what I'm told, it's gonna be a full movie.
So this is sort of an underground kind of thing where it's about food. Hot dogs are the focus here, but it's about food and being sentient, and then thinking that once they go home from the grocery store, everything's all happy and it's like being chosen to go to the island or whatever. And
somebody watched too many Oscar Mayer Wiener commercials as a kid. Or watched too many of the Pop-Tart commercials.
Well, after Food Fight, I think anybody could make a food movie and not do... I mean, that's the bar. That's the lowest of the low.
That's the bar?
Ankle biters.
No, for food movies.
Oh, I'm just talking movies in general.
Bad movies? Oh, there's plenty below Food Fight for bad movies. But Food Fight's the lowest of the low for food movies.
Okay.
We got way off track, didn't we?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, we did.
We did.
We did.
Kind of
but we were talking about
Okay.
Pokemon and bad movies.
So I guess we might be coming down, rounding the final corner here or something. But I did want to talk about this, at least on this show. No Man's Sky, which is something we're very excited for. We're doing a lot of content for the channel on that.
August 8th.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited for it. Now, No Man's Sky, I finally went and dug up some stuff on it. Apparently, they had to go to court and get permission to use Sky in their title.
Yeah, because it was trademarked.
It was a trademark. It's the word Sky.
Over in Europe. This is Britain.
Trademarked.
It's like Europe and Britain. Yeah, because there's like Sky News.
Let me say that again with periods. The word Sky is trademarked in Europe.
Uh-huh.
Remember Got Milk? That became Got Everything.
Or Candy Crush. Or Candy Saga.
Yeah, Candy Saga.
Yeah, they trademarking Saga. That's what caused Banner Saga
the guys
to
who tried
caught
to
up.
trademark React.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and this is what happens when that shit gets through. So they had to go to court and get approved to use Sky in the title of the thing, and that was the dumb reason they got sued, or they had to go to court. Now the really interesting reason they had to go to court is apparently the algorithm, the equation that they used to generate the 18 quintillion worlds.
Mm-hmm.
They may not have had legitimate permission to use it.
Right.
It's alleged that they may not have gotten proper permission, or the equation that they're using is in marked ways very similar to this other
copyrighted math equation.
Yeah, called a super formula, which it's basically to generate all of this stuff. And so that's interesting. It hasn't put any delays on the game. The soundtrack is currently available for pre-order. I'm pretty sure the game has been available for pre-order for a long time.
Okay.
And it's coming out August 8th. Everybody's excited. They haven't pushed it back at all, at least not at this point. But I will have to say things are looking a little rocky if this super formula thing kind of happens. I think what they're trying to do is get it taken through court and reach an agreement without delaying the game.
Right.
Because I don't think the people who are coming forward about the super formula want to delay the game. I think they want to see their formula used. I think they want credit for it being used.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I mean, I can understand it's a little shitty that they grabbed your stuff, or they made something up that was really like your stuff. And you're published, you've trademarked it, and you didn't get recognition for it. Getting that recognition should be enough.
Well, the thing is, I mean, part of what they probably thought was like, it's a math equation. I mean, it's like,
who's going to use this, right?
Who's going to use this? How can you really trademark math? Because it all builds upon something else.
Apparently, you can trademark the word sky, so math isn't too far from there.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And I hope this doesn't set a precedence, because somebody's going to come back and go, you used x plus y equals z if this. Now, I originally designed that piece of code. I'm going to go trademark it. That's hope. I understand the mathematician and great. You know, if it's trademarked and whatnot and wants credit and they should be using credit for it, fine. I hope this doesn't set a precedence for a new form of trolling. I don't want to see math teachers troll because usually they have really bad puns.
I don't get it.
That was already a bad pun.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Sorry.
Okay. So No Man's Sky is currently still releasing on August 8th. It is PS4 and it's releasing on Steam. Xbox One, go suck a dick. You're not getting it.
Hey.
So, hey, you know my birthday's coming up, right? Now it's officially recorded that he should get me a gift.
Okay.
No Man's Sky.
Okay. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're all getting it because we're all going to be playing it. Some for the channel, sometimes off the channel, but
it's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's huge. We're going to make it huge, even if it just completely falls flat. We're going to do something with that.
If it's huge in my house, that's all that matters.
We'll do that space. What was that other space game where like it's the moon landing simulator, but they put speech to text, text to speech in it.
It's the NASA moon simulator. That was great.
Oh, that went off
Yeah.
all over the place, and that wasn't really much of a game at all.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was a simulator.
But this is very much. It's like was it more like StarCraft or not StarCraft, Minecraft. But now you can explore, trade, and go fly around in space too. So, you know, you can go land on planets and you can mine minerals and you can discover things and put your own name on it.
All right.
So
last looks. We got anything else?
I'm going to call it there.
All right.
Unless James has something.
You got something?
No,
Okay.
I think we're good.
All right.
All right. So thank you all for tuning in again for the GACC podcast. We're going to put the audio version up on our website at www.jennyfedora.com. And from there, you should also be able to find it on Google Plus and Google Play. It was Google, yeah.
Yeah, Google Play Music's podcast section. It's a new thing they rolled out. Definitely go check it out if you're into podcasts. You can use your Google Play to subscribe to podcasts.
Yeah. iTunes, and then
remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, like, comment, and subscribe. It's going to go up there before it hits out as a video, and hopefully we can get this rolled out rapidly underneath Jenny Fedora Reviews on YouTube for your weekly entertainment. So again, like, comment, subscribe. If you want us to improve anything or whatnot, let us know. We're doing this all for you out there.
Thanks for coming out, folks.
Thank you.